Confidence is often celebrated as the engine for young professionals, especially across fast growing, high pressure work environments. But there's a quieter side to it that doesn't really get enough attention. When confidence crosses into overconfidence, it can become a workplace risk. And there have been emerging conversations in leadership and organizational culture that point to a pattern where some early career professionals overestimate their expertise. They come in full of energy and very, very confident, but then they struggle with feedback and they make decisions without fully grasping the bigger picture. And the result to that is sometimes a strained team dynamics, missed learning opportunities, and in some cases, very costly mistakes for businesses. So today we're taking a look at this intersection. How do you nurture confidence in the workplace without losing your humility? And how do young professionals build authority while remaining open to growth? Joining us in this conversation is Melini Moses, Director of Express Yourself, a communications consultancy specialising in training, PR and strategic communications. Melini, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Palisa. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is an important conversation, but I feel like there's so many nuances to it because we don't want to say that young professionals mustn't be confident. And I know throughout many years, many women in particular have struggled with confidence in workplace situations, many of them which are male dominated. And we also don't want to reverse some of that confidence that has now, started growing in many women in workplace environments. So let's speak about what the line is between confidence and overconfidence.
Thanks, Palisa. So confidence is something that we want to see. Like you're saying, for years we've been quiet in the workplace, as women especially, but it's about how we frame that confidence and just being able to read the room. Where are we and how we should react. So this is important in today's workplace because of the level of exposure that we're now operating in. So previously, you could be brilliant at your job and you'll mainly be known internally in your office, right? But now it's about how we show up everywhere. So it can be in person, on Teams calls, in emails, on WhatsApp groups, all over social media. So people are not just assessing our work, they also start assessing our tone, our judgment, our presence, the way we think. And this can happen within minutes. So before you even finish your first sentence, people are already forming an opinion about you. And I'm seeing that many young professionals in particular, they are very confident, especially our Gen Zs, which is great, but they haven't really been equipped to manage that visibility well. For instance, you'd post something on LinkedIn after a difficult day at work, which sounds honest to you, what's the big deal? This is what happened. But immediately it may raise questions about your professionalism. Should what you posted have even been posted? Should it have been handled internally? So often we think that we're just being honest and being open with clients, for instance, but actually we don't realize that it's weakening confidence, their confidence in us and in the companies that we work for. So it's important for them to know that they're not just representing their brand, but also their organization on every single platform that they're on.
Well, you spoke about reading the room, and let's speak about what the conversations that are happening in the room, particularly by leadership. What are they struggling with in particular when it comes to early career professionals? I mean, the workplace has become ever growingly competitive. We know that unemployment rates are very high all across the African continent. That means that you need to have an edge to get ahead. So what are these patterns that have, that leaders have started noticing in early career professionals that have raised concerns?
So what we're seeing is that there is definitely massive talent. We have wonderful young people that have educated themselves well, so they know their stuff. Technically, they're on top of their game, but it's the lack of awareness around professional boundaries, mainly, that's a bit of a concern. So many of them haven't been taught the unwritten rules. And I think none of us have been taught the unwritten rules. It's something that comes with experience over time, right? So what we're seeing is oversharing of information, particularly on social media. There's a blurring of boundaries between work, your LinkedIn, your TikTok, your Instagram profiles.
Sure.
There's very casual conversation and communication in formal environments. So often lots of what should not be said on that platforms are being said, and often to clients. And then leadership has to go and intervene and do some damage control. Then we're seeing emotional responses in situations where we need to be composed. So it's immediate reactions rather than just taking some time to ponder upon what's happening and how to intervene. Sometimes there's a misunderstanding about what should remain confidential and what shouldn't. And I think the most important thing is that they're not doing it on purpose. In this generation, they've been born in a generation where it's normal to share and just be open. So it's just that they don't realize the impact of it.
So I think you just highlighted something that's so powerful there, saying, you know what, they probably don't know because they are born in a world where everything is blurted out on social media platforms, but confidentiality is a big part of professionalism. Is it also the responsibilities of employers to really conscientize this generation?
Absolutely. And I would really love to see more of this. I always tell your CEOs and managers, don't you wish you had this information when you were in your 20s? Imagine what would happen if we could equip our young people at this age in things like personal branding, executive presence, etc. It will elevate not just them, but the entire organization. So yes, we need more of this. We need them to be trained. When people are hired, managers generally look for the technical performance, right? Initially, it's can you do the job? Can you meet the targets? Can you deliver the results? But they're less focused on how this person can represent the organization in their everyday interactions. And now we know that branding doesn't just live in a marketing campaign. It lives in how employees communicate. So I teach young people, how do you dress up when you show up for a meeting? Even when you show up to work every day, how do you handle information? How do you type that email? Do you double check? Do you put a full stop and commas? How do you show up on time for the meeting? How do you prepare? It's all of those little things that add up to your bigger personal brand. And that is what people are taking note of. So yes, I think it's our responsibility as employers, and we'll see the benefits of it if we train our young people in these skills.
All right, Melini, let's take a break. We'll come back to you after that. We're speaking to Melini Moses, who's the director of Express Yourself, a communications consultancy specializing in training, PR, and strategic communication. Let's grow together on In the Cubicle.
Este é o Caleidoscópio de Canal África, com Remo Samo e João Yabalá.
O conflito militar envolvendo o Irão, os Estados Unidos e Israel provocou uma escalada acentuada nos preços do petróleo, especialmente devido à ameaça de interrupção do tráfego pelo Estreito de Hormuz, responsável por cerca de 20% do consumo mundial de crudo. Para países africanos dependentes de importações de energia, esta tensão não é apenas um problema económico, mas também social, com impactos potenciais sobre inflação, custos de produção e acesso a combustíveis essenciais. Para perceber os riscos e possíveis respostas, falamos com o Dr. Lutumba Simão, economista angolano.
Para os países exportadores, vão verificar uma receita mais alta do que previam. E do ponto de vista de custo para as populações, vamos identificar que também pode aumentar a inflação, principalmente naqueles países onde, de facto, importam o crude e os combustíveis derivados do petróleo bruto.
De segunda a sexta-feira, das 20 às 21 horas locais, este é o Caleidoscópio de Canal África.
Keep Africa in your hands. Connect to our website for all your news, sports, and cultural updates. channelafrica.co.za. Balisa and Benjamin, fuel your day. with fresh African perspective on Channel Africa.
All right, it's our In the Cubicle conversation. Melini Moses is the director of Express Yourself, helping us to speak about confidence and confidence that doesn't lose humility, but also that has an authority, but also remains available for growth. Melini, you know, the different generations are very interesting because you just see them from a perspective whereby, you know, they are always using different reasons for doing certain things. So intention is always a different playground that they play within. We're speaking about the latest generations, and we're thinking about it as the millennials and saying, you know what, I wish I could use mental health as an excuse not to go to work, because I'm sure I had mental health issues when I was early in my career, but I never used that as a prism of excuses not to go to the office and do work. But you know, this is a different generation. Their ethic is completely different, and the way that they view the workplace is also challenging for the generations that employ them. Do you think the confidence there is also bred by this kind of new way of ethical points of views?
Great question, Benjamin, and you're absolutely right. And it's driving every other generation crazy in the workplace. So I actually have a cause to help the generations bridge this generation gap in the workplace. So the young people are coming in with a different mindset that this is the way I am, and you know, you hired me, so this is what you get. They are very specific about what time they come in. If you speak to any HR manager, they will tell you their levels of frustration, because they say at 12 o'clock lunchtime that their laptops are closed, they open at 1 o'clock again, when everyone else is still in the office working past their time. Your Gen Z is packing up and they are gone home and having a good time.
Yeah.
So it does leave everyone else frustrated, because they feel like they are left carrying the load.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about your 40-year-olds upward, right?
Yeah.
And the scary part is our young generation are our future leaders. So they are going to reach management level and be the CEOs. And then how are those companies going to run? These are questions that so many companies are asking themselves.
You know, Melanie,
So,
apologies for coming in there. I was just thinking about that. We keep saying that, right? That these young people are the future, and they're coming in with so many new things and different things. And I'm trying to understand, you know, maybe is it the organizations and the organizational cultures that have existed? Some of them that we know haven't been so great for, for people in organizations. Shouldn't those be changing rather than trying to change the behaviors of young professionals who are going to be the future of organizations nonetheless?
yes, that's an excellent point. And organizational cultures are already changing because there's so many young people that are entering the workforce. Slowly but surely, they are changing. The culture is changing. But for now, as long as we remain in the workplace, there are those tension points, right, that will continue. And it's important that there's an understanding. We all of us need to sit together and say, okay, in my generation, this is how we did things, and now help me to understand where you are going. Because the truth is, research has shown that there is benefit from our Gen Zs. Some of them, they are still doing the work, right? Others, like in every generation, people slack and don't do what they're supposed to do, but there are high performing young people as well. So it's about having that conversation, sitting down and seeing how we can work together to get things done. I heard a story of a manager the other day who say, I have Gen Zs mainly in my workplace and they are amazing. I leave them to do their work, but they don't have to come in. I don't give them a set time to come to the office, as long as the work is done and they need to account for it. Even if they are working till midnight, that's what they need to do. But they have to do their work. So for them, it's working. They change their culture and the job is still getting done. So I think communication is the absolute critical point. Else we'll just keep judging and hating each other.
Yeah, Melanie, I was asking that question, not basically to look at the chasm between the generations, because I think it's good. But, that confidence that is ethical can sometimes alienate others and make others feel like they're not part of that job journey. How do you use that confidence and some of those great ethical codes that we've been speaking about as a way not to isolate those you work within, but also have a sense of humility, how you navigate even these changing ways of doing work?
Okay, so it's about increasing your level of awareness. So knowing that from the minute that you show up at work and even when you're at home, in whatever you are doing, you are representing not just your personal brand, but you're representing the business brand. When you are interacting with clients and even with fellow colleagues, whether it's your boss, to maintain that level of respect, to think before you act, think before you speak, think before you write that email. Read the room, take time to prepare, watch your words, realize that not everything needs sharing. Just because it was, a shocking incident for you doesn't mean that a client needs to know about what happened. Just be intentional about everything and about building your credibility over time with every little thing, your timing, your words, every little interaction matters. If you're a little bit late, it means sending that message. Even if you're 2 minutes late, send a WhatsApp. I'm so sorry. I'm a few minutes late. I'll be there shortly. All of that adds to your credibility and builds your personal brand.
And it's just all about responsibility, right? I feel like that's a word we haven't used yet, but just being responsible for all these decisions that you're taking, especially representing your own brand, but also another brand, which is where you work.
Absolutely.
All right, where can we find you, Melini? We are wrapping up this one. You've helped us a lot on understanding this issue. Where can we find you and express yourself?
You'll find me on expressyourself.co.za and on all social media platforms. I also have a Youth Express channel called Youth Express, which I would really love. It's a free platform for young people just to help them accelerate in every avenue of their lives. I have advice there from people who've been in the industry for a long time. And I developed that just to help our next generation because I love them so much and I want them to prosper. So please go ahead and follow that. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure speaking to you both.
Thank you so much, Melanie. Really, really great platforms there for young people who are going to be the future professionals of our industries. That's Melini Moses, Director of Express Yourself, a communications consultancy specialising in training, PR and strategic communication. Well, how do you nurture confidence without losing humility? Very interesting questions and dynamics there as well. 10:30 Central Africa time. Once again, time for our latest sports with Figile Lingwati.
Sports on Channel Africa.